There are so many possibilities for having fun with your students, even if they're afar from you, and playing games that are also educational. And one tool that will really help with that is Zoom, and let me show you some of the possibilities. I'd love for you to take what you already are using and just share it in Zoom like so. So these are some documents, PDFs, or any kind of document that you, or even a web page on your computer, you can share it with your students. So say you just want students to read and write words, then you can have them go to annotate. Then they go to text. And so you say, okay, Sarah, I want you to read word number 1. What do you think that word is? And hopefully she can read river, and if not, you help her. And then you say, okay, Sarah, click on the T text tool and type the word river and say the sounds when you do it. R-I-V-R. So that is just one example from one of our resources here at the Reading Simplified Academy for making this pretty easy to take what you already have and turn it into an activity that's pretty easy for kids to do. But another fun way is to play charades. So we have a game called Act It Out, which I'm trying to find. Oh, okay, I got to stop the share, and I'm going to share a different document. So let's share another document. This one, okay. I'm just sharing this. Actually, I'm not going to share this with my students. Changed my mind. I'm not going to share it with my students, but I will share it with you. So let me show you what's going to happen. The sound. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So normally if you were with your students in person, you could cut these out and they could draw one at a time, and then they would have to read the words, and they would then act them out, and maybe their teammates could try to guess the meaning of what they had on their card. Okay, but for our purposes, here's a fun way of playing that game. So you can go to chat and you can choose just one person. So I'm just zooming myself right now for demonstration purposes, but if you click here in this area, you would see an opportunity to send a specific message to a specific person. So every Zoom account that would be attached to this session would be listed here, and you could send a particular person one of these phrases or sentences like this. They would have to read it, and then they would be the only ones to see it. See, I wouldn't choose everyone. And then they would get on the camera, act it out, and we would try to guess what it was. So you can do this with anything. Just any, action words work really well. For younger kids, maybe you want to do jump or skip, swim. It could be one word, it could be phrases, it could be sentences. Obviously, it can't be too complex because they're just acting it out. So that's Act It Out. That's really the first game, and all it takes is texting via Zoom, and then they need to show up on camera to play the game. Again, the idea is you just take what you have and share the screen, and it will work out for many different types of activities for your kids at a distance. So here's one of our packets for the Vowel Plus E, or that Magic E resource in the Reading Simplified Academy. But let's say we want to play tic-tac-toe, and we're going to use this game. Here we go. So let's make it maybe a little bigger. And you're going to share the screen. This is your screen. Got to unshare it every time. Don't forget that. Here I'm going to go to share. And again, through annotate, kids could mark these words. Another fun thing they could do would be to stamp them. So every child would have the option to go up here to annotate. And I'd say, okay, we're going to have, team A and team B. This would be probably if you had just, a small group of students, maybe the same reading group. Team A may be the stars and team B may be the heart. Okay, team A, you have to read a word and then choose your star and stamp it. So what word are you going to choose, team A? What is it? Stone. That's right. Okay, you got to stamp it. There you go. And how about team B? You're the hearts. Which word are you going to choose? Oh, you're going to choose broke. Okay, there you go. Who is going to win this game? Strange. That's right. So that stamping is really fun. Of course, they could also draw maybe a thicker mark. They could do X's and O's. You could change the color. So this is a simple PDF. If you don't have this one, just write it on a Word document or a Google Doc, and you can share it on the screen as a PDF, as the Word doc, as the Google Doc. It doesn't take fancy. It doesn't have to look fancy to still be fun for your kids to play with you, even though they're far from home. I mean, far from school. So tic-tac-toe might work. You might also enjoy playing bingo. That's another game. Maybe you could send, this is from a program. I just generated this really quickly. It was easy to do. Where was that? Not there. Yeah. myfreebingocards.com. myfreebingocards.com. I did this in just a few seconds. These are the words that you could call. You could break these up. Turn this into it is a PDF, break it up and send one to each child if you wanted to do it in a small group. And again, through the Google stamp option, they could mark it however they wanted. Or you could be doing this maybe more one-on-one. It may be complex to send this to each one to your students, but it's just trying to give you the idea of how whatever you already have, don't recreate the wheel, just throw it up there, share the screen, and use these tools to have the students interact with you. Wordwall is a great resource for creating all sorts of games and finding other games that are already out there, and they will work from a distance with Zoom or other web conferencing software, and they can also be played asynchronously. In other words, kids could play them at different times, and there is a leaderboard, so that's a fun way to challenge your kids. So you can go here and type any content area and find games that are already created, but also you can create your own. It really takes no time at all. I made 4 games quite quickly, and I've put them up here. And this goes along with our Sort It activity and the concept of doing or teaching multiple spellings of the same sound, at the same time. So here's 4 games that I put on this website that all come from Wordwall that I created. And I'll be creating more probably if you want to go to my profile page in Wordwall to get games that are congruent with reading Simplified. So let's just try a couple. I like to expand it so it's big. Let's see, that didn't expand. We're going to go maybe over here. Oh, there we go. Actually, before I expand, we're going to need to before I expand, I want to share it. Okay, so let's go to share in Zoom and choose this website. And now I'm going to make it big. And I could ask If I had students or different people on here, I could go to the remote control option and share the remote, the mouse control with students. And that's one way to play the game, but there are others. So you just drag the words over here, read them, of course. You'd read the word first and get the kids to read it out loud. And I'm going to actually do the whole game so you can see that there is a leaderboard. And this is how maybe you can encourage your kids to play the game when they're not with you, and maybe they'll get faster and faster. And these words will become high frequency words that they've automatized or become sight words. Grow. These columns come from our key sentence, go home to show the boat to Joe. This is part of our sorted activity at Reading Simplified. But you can make it anything that you want with these games. Here's the fun part. Hope I got them right. Give it a second. There we go. Hey, let's check out the leaderboard. Looks like I'm first. Testing. Oh, I beat Emma. So that probably will motivate some of your students, will it not? Make it small. And so that works if you are able to share the remote, remote control with the mouse, which is one of the features of Zoom. I've heard it's either not feasible or doesn't work at all on mobile. So the other thing you can do is simply give the students the link. So let's see. And click on one of these activities. And instead of playing it, I'm going to share it. So, set assignment. We do want the leaderboard. We do want them to enter their name, otherwise, just their first name. Otherwise, we won't know who's winning. And there we go. There we've got it. Copy this link, and you could send it to kids in an email or text or in the chat. Chat. This time I'm sending it to everyone. And then they could all play, and you could you could watch the leaderboard. Here, let me show you the other games that I created. These are so much fun, I think. Make it bigger so kids can read it. Now this one is easier to do without sharing the mouse, and you can do it all simultaneously. Okay, I did not expand it for some reason. Let's try this. There we go. Huh. It's just not expanding. Well, that's okay with this one because the words get bigger. Okay, so basically you would ask a student, hey Johnny, tell me which number, and he said number 1. Okay, so Johnny, what's the word? Toe. All right, if you want to keep playing, you need to write that word down because you got a point for it, but you have to show that you got that word. So write your word toe down, Johnny. Nobody else writes that down. It was his word. And Johnny keeps going because he didn't make any mistakes until he gets hit by something. Okay, what's the next number you want, Johnny? Okay, 13. Let's check out that word. It's not working. Tap background to zoom out. Okay, you need to expand it. I needed to go to the bottom right hand corner. Okay, Johnny, let's try 13. There we go. What's that word, Johnny? Most. That's right. Now write the word and say the word as you do it. He keeps getting more turns. What's your next number? 9. Okay. Road. Write the word road and say it as you do it. Road. Now what's going to happen? Eventually we're going to get to some things that stop Johnny in his tracks. So this might work best for a small group or one-on-one with you, taking turns as the teacher. Because we put in lose a turn, and I'm just not good at finding those. And also 2 really big words. So whatever is a really big word for your student's level, you could add them. I haven't come to them yet. Goodness. So Johnny's getting a lot of turns in this game. There's other ways to play it. You can put anything you want on these. I create. Okay, so finally we hit a big word. Maybe this would be hard for Johnny. Maybe he tried it and he said gopher and he couldn't get it. Well, we would still help him read it, but he would end his turn. Well, you're so close. This is a f sound right here. Do you see those 2 together? This is f. So try again. What are just these first 2 sounds together? Go, and then this is f, so put together gopher. Okay, you got it, but now it's going to be someone else's turn because you needed help. So Sally, you get to go. Oh, Sally got a big word. What is that big word? Let's take it chunk by chunk. Okay, see if you can do it, and maybe she gets it. Yes, envelope. Very good. So we had 2 big words in this, and then among the remaining cards, there's 2 lose a turn. So Sally keeps getting another turn. And the sound effects are fun for kids, I'm sure. Surely we can get to lose a turn. There we go. Okay, so Sally loses a turn. So then it's now Emma's turn. And so that's how this game goes. That's one way. You can make it any way you want. That's just what occurred to me. And that is called Open the Box. So we played Sort It, and we've played Open the Box, and now this might be the most fun of all. Let's do Spin the Wheel. I'm gonna make it big first. And we're still doing the O sound, so these are mostly high frequency O sound words. And this might be where if you don't have the kids having access to the mouse, then maybe you spin for them. But if you do the remote control, then they can spin, or they can just do it at home on their own, and that's probably going to be fun too. Okay, so you can spin this way by dragging it. All right, so we have a student, maybe Johnny reads a boat. Very good. And then I'm going to click eliminate, so we just we take boat out of this and keep working on the rest of the words. Okay, now we're going to spin again. Do you want Johnny to keep spinning, or do you want another kid to have a turn? Or maybe it could be teams, and each team collects words. So there's different ways that you could play this, but actually you do have to drag the wheel. It's not a clicker. Oh, you could press spin down here. Let's do spin it. There, nice solid spin. So I think, yeah, this might work best with teams, and they could collect points by reading words, and they have to write and say the words, and they could show you the words on their screen, so you know at the end that they've really done it. So that is spin the wheel. That, of course, is with the long O sound and its various spellings, but you could make one of these in Wordwall with any type of activity. You can see here there's other options. There are 18 types of options that are free. Like game show quiz, maze chase, open the box, balloon pop. They are really clever, and like I said, super easy to produce. So I'm going to expand this one. Okay, so this idea is related to a passage that we have in the Reading Simplified Academy. So if you're studying the O sound words, yeah, then you read O sound passages. Well, maybe they've read this passage And now you're going to play a game with it just to give them additional practice rereading, but making it more fun. So Joe is if you remember the story, he is a toad. And so maybe Emma does the first one, and now Braden, it's your turn. He lives on an old yellow, that's right, boat. And so kids could take turns, or you could have teams. This could be, again, they could be remote control where they take over the mouse, or you could just have them tell you and you can control it. And again, they can also play at home on their own when you send them the link. So we've got all of these games to add to our toolbox now. We've got the close game, the spin the wheel, we've got open the box, and we've got the sorting game, and that's all going to reinforce just the O sound. So there's lots of ways to practice all week in addition to reading. So if you wanted to expand students' opportunities to learn these letter sounds and high frequency words, you might not just have them read this with you or on their own or independently. This was Toad and Goat. Sorry that all this copying and having so many different videos on is what's slowing me down. Okay, yeah, so this would be the passage maybe that the kids would read independently or in small groups or with you. And then one of the routines we have at Reading Simplified is to do rereading every day, and at least a selection gets mastered. So the student might struggle initially with this passage, but after hearing the teacher model it a few times and then practicing it several times, then the student gets fluent at it, and then these become high frequency words or sight words for the child. But if they were to read this and then play a game like this closed passage, I bet they would have more fun. You see, this is just straight out of that text. So any text you have, put it up there and make the target words the words that you choose for the game. So we've had sorting, out of the box, open the box rather, spin the wheel, the close game. We've also talked about variations on bingo and tic-tac-toe and act it out. And another one is maybe not that playful, but it serves us well a lot with Reading Simplified. Many kids are prone to guessing when they get to a word that's hard. So he lives in an old, and they read the first letter sound and then they say something like, he lives in an old, I don't know what's a good thing that they might come up with yellow, but they make some random guess. He lives in an old house. Say they said that. Well, you would know that that is a guess. And so you would say, uh-oh. Let's see, I'm going to pick white so it shows up here. I think that was a guess. Mrs. Ginsburg's going to get a point. So maybe the whole class is competing against Mrs. Ginsburg. So that was definitely a guess. I'm going to give myself a check. So I've got 1 point, but every word that the next student reads that they work at sounding it out and looking at all the letter sounds, then they get a point. Okay, so the next child goes and he reads, Bo is a got. Well, remember this is an O. Oh, goat. Hey, too bad. You guys got a point, so you guys are going to get maybe a star, or you could do checks too, whatever. So I use the annotate function. I have a PDF on the screen. You could also do the same thing with a Google Doc and keeps them on point because they're going to be less likely to guess. And the way I play it is if they worked at it, and even if they needed teacher help, that's fine. It's just that when they say something random that has very little to do with the letters in the word other than maybe the first letter, then that's a point for the teacher. You could do the same thing on a Google Doc of any type or anything that you can show on your screen. So if you go to readingsimplified.com/online phonics games, you can find these 4. Maybe there'll be more added soon, but you really don't need to be shy about cracking open wordwall.net. Playing around with this, super easy to add your own games and find games in the community. So anything you want to teach, reading or any type, can be played this way. Sharing the mouse control or just playing it when kids are on their own and seeing who's the winner. Maybe by you assign the game and the next time you meet, you say, oh, the deadline to be on the top of the leaderboard is when we meet, and you can show everyone the leaderboard when you get there together as a group. So I hope this gives you some inspiration for some different ways to play and have fun and still keep your kids learning even while schools are closed. Would you like future complimentary trainings like this here at Reading Simplified? Then make sure you ring the bell here at YouTube to become a subscriber so that you learn more of our ways of streamlining instruction and accelerating students' reading achievement. And you can also find us on Facebook at Reading Simplified, usually on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go live with other complimentary trainings, and we give away some freebies for teachers and parents. So I hope to see you here again next time on YouTube or even on Facebook. Take care.